from the station that's on your side. Breaking news.
Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Aiken County, South Carolina. These are live pictures for our crew that has just arrived on the scene. We're talking about Augusta Road and Dibble Road. This is just outside Warrenville, just outside, between Warrenville and Aiken, but closer to Warrenville. The multi-car crash, they say, happened around 9:40 tonight, so this scene is a little more than 1 hour old here, as it still is a very active scene here. We understand there are multiple injuries, 2 possibly airlifted to a hospital for treatment, but our crew is just arriving on the scene where we see a lot of law enforcement and first responders still there. We're going to let you know just as soon as we learn more about this multi-car accident with multiple injuries tonight in Aiken County, just outside Warrenville on Augusta Road. Also tonight, an 18-year-old arrested in connection with a gang-related shooting in Grovetown. Wednesday, Grovetown police, along with the Columbia County Sheriff's Office, responded to a shooting at Hall's Mobile Home Park. Officials say the suspect had traveled to Grovetown to collect money owed to him by the victims. Keith Campbell was arrested yesterday. Investigators say he's a member of the Loyalty Over Everything, a criminal street gang. He's charged with 4 counts of aggravated assault, unlawful street gang activity, armed robbery, and possession of a firearm. Also new at 11, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office searching for this man. Shomi Bowers Jr. wanted in connection to an aggravated assault that happened on Japonica Avenue. Bowers is about 5'10", black hair, brown eyes, considered armed and dangerous. He's accused of aggravated assault with possession of a firearm during a crime by a convicted felon. If you see Bowers, call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office at the number there on the screen. One man in critical condition after a shooting in Grovetown early this morning. The Grovetown Police Department got the call about someone banging on doors along Battle Court. When police got to the scene, they heard gunshots and someone calling for help. They found Jordan Jackson with a gunshot wound. The homeowner said his security camera showed 2 people wearing masks and armed with guns trying to break in, and that's when he says he started shooting. Sidney Hood spoke with someone who lives there in that neighborhood and says neighbors are still confused by what happened there.
This day had a pretty unusual start for Michael Lloyd. He woke up to blue and red lights in front of his house,
which was highly unusual for coming out of my house at about 5 a.m.
He's lived in the Reynolds Ridge neighborhood for about 12 years.
Normally, this is an extremely quiet street with rarely anything at all going on. Everyone's pretty much keeps themselves, but yet it's very peaceful.
Day and night, it's peaceful here.
So it was still quiet until I walked outside and realized what was going on.
And what was going on in front of his house was shocking, to say the least.
Definitely no violent crimes or anything like that ever happened in this neighborhood.
Which is why he's extra careful and keeping an eye out on his house.
We have cameras surrounding the house to make sure that everything's protected. This neighborhood is almost completely military or retired military, so everyone here protects their homes accordingly.
With eyes watching their surroundings even closer.
It just makes me probably a little more vigilant about what goes on day to day and to be more aware.
Most of those neighbors we spoke with say the same thing. They're now paying extra close attention to their surroundings, making sure those security cameras and alarm systems are on, because that peaceful neighborhood wants to get back to what they're used to, which is peace and quiet over that way. Much more news ahead, but right now it's about 10 minutes. The GBI says there's an open investigation into the Waynesboro Police Department. Authorities say they found irregularities in a former employee's training record. The agency says they noticed the irregularities in January. In a statement today, the Waynesboro Police Department says they demand integrity in all their employees and take the state's training requirements seriously. We'll let you know when we learn more about that investigation. A local family spreading the word about cancer in children and the signs to look out for. Their 13-year-old daughter died suddenly from undiagnosed leukemia. And now Julia Chavez's parents are mourning a life taken too quickly. They say in a matter of 12 hours, their lives changed forever.
We had never thought when we were in church Sunday that phone call would lead to her death. No big deal. We're taking her because she was complaining of an earache. And 12 hours later,
yeah,
it's gone.
I think that's the brutal part about it, is we didn't get to say, we will miss you, bye.
The Randalls say childhood cancer screening is now their mission. We spoke with a pediatrician today who says if symptoms like fever, fatigue, headaches, or bruising keep persisting, tell your family doctor and keep following up if any symptoms don't go away. A Bamberg County man charged with murder after police say he attacked a woman. Officials say it happened last week on Wednesday, and Xavier Jones was arrested the next day. They say Jones admitted to hitting and kicking the victim several times in the head and even choked her. Investigators say Jones then left the victim lying on the ground where she was later pronounced dead. The Hancock County Sheriff's Office asking for your help to find a missing man. Walton Walls, last seen by his family last Thursday, reported missing on Monday. If you live in Hancock County and you see Walls or know where he might be, call the Hancock County Sheriff's Office. A former Atlanta Falcons player facing charges for human trafficking in Gwinnett County, along with 8 other people. Eric Johnson arrested and charged with conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, trafficking of a person for sexual servitude, and violation of the Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. He's also accused of trafficking 5 female victims, including 1 minor. To education now, South Carolina lawmakers considering a bill that would allow students to attend any public school in the state, regardless of where they live. Right now, some districts across the state already do that, but this bill would make it statewide.
It's another tool in the toolbox for our parents to have choices, and children should be able to learn in the area that best suits their needs.
And an open enrollment bill that allows students increased access to public schooling options is the truest and purest form of educational choice.
Under the bill, public schools could create a charge fee to non-resident students similar to tuition. Speaking of education, construction is underway for a new Junior Achievement Discovery Center coming to our area this fall. There are 5 centers like it across Georgia already. I sat down with the director in Augusta to find out how they teach finance and business to middle schoolers. This is a partnership between Richmond and Columbia County schools, but eventually could serve other schools as well.
What I think is really neat is that while they're pooling their resources and working together to get this resource for their students, in the future they're also going to open up this opportunity for other counties as well if they want to bring their students to this as well.
We also talked about the timeline for building the Discovery Center here, and you can watch my latest one-on-one Sunday morning. After that, you'll find it posted on the website, wrdw.com. The Edgefield County School District is highlighting a young angler offered a scholarship to join the fishing team at Erskine College. Matthew Massey, a student at Strom Thurmond High School. The district sharing this photo of the signing on their social media page. Erskine College is a private Christian college in Due West, South Carolina. That's about an hour south of Greenville. A free clinic now, a free game later. Tomorrow, the Georgia Soul men's basketball team hosting a free youth mini clinic. That camp will be held at the Heal Complex over at Payne College. It is free for boys ages 5 to 12. All campers get a t-shirt and 1 free ticket to the season opener coming up on March the 4th, which is also Kids Day for the team. A small town in Mississippi, now the site of America's latest mass shooting. Riley.
Well, we are looking at a dry weekend, a little bit chilly out there for us Saturday, but warm temps are making a comeback. Have a look at the full forecast just after the break. Our next week, afternoon highs well above average, upper 70s, even 80 degrees Wednesday and Thursday.
The town of Arca Butler, Mississippi has fewer than 300 people, but it is now the site of America's latest mass shooting. The suspected gunman is right there from the town and now in custody, but the big question tonight is what set him off.
6 people are dead after a shooting rampage through a rural Mississippi community on Friday. Authorities in Tate County say 52-year-old Richard Dale Crum killed a man outside this store around 11 a.m.
I heard the gunshot from inside my house.
Ethan Cash saw the attacker carrying a long gun and went to check on the victim.
I go up to the truck where a guy got shot at, and I check his pulse and everything, make sure he's okay. He's already gone at this point.
Police say Crum left the store and gunned down a woman in her home. At some point, a sheriff's deputy spotted him in a car and took him into custody after a brief chase. But by then, 4 others were dead. Police say 2 were found inside a home and 2 more outside near the suspect's house in Arca Butler. Crum is charged with first-degree murder, and now his own town is in shock.
It is such a tragedy. We have most people are just really good, and we never would have thought anything like that would have happened here.
Mississippi's governor says the suspect acted alone. Dina Demetrius, CBS News.
Crum is being held without bond in the Tate County Jail. The sheriff's office says more charges will be coming in the next few days. The latest from space now, where Crum is being held without bond in the Tate. The latest from space now, where telescopes are giving us a really rare look at young stars as they're forming. Astronomers are using the Webb Space Telescope to look inside these spiral galaxies. That telescope can see the universe in infrared light, which lets us look through the dust that's been keeping us from seeing the formation of emerging stars like this. The stars release energy, creating giant bubbles of gas and dust that can overlap, forming amazing structures. But what a sight there from deep space. When we come back, the 5 former Memphis police officers charged with murder appearing in court today. We'll take you there. But first, as we head for break, a live look at Kansas City tonight and your winning lottery numbers. 5 former Memphis police officers plead not guilty today to second-degree murder in the violent arrest and death of Tyree Nichols. The officers were fired after the internal police investigation into that January 7th arrest of Nichols, who died in a hospital 3 days later. Today, the Memphis NAACP, along with state representatives and local leaders, calling for the U.S. Department of Justice to conduct a pattern and practices investigation of the Memphis Police Department.
I can think of no greater betrayal than the person that you look to for help, the person that you look to save you in a time of crisis, being that individual who victimizes you. So we're going to do what we need to do to get those monsters off the street.
All 5 officers are facing charges of murder, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, and official misconduct and official oppression. They're all out on bond. Frustration growing in Ohio over the response to that train derailment and toxic chemical release. Ohio's governor also says tests of the air and water continue to show the environment is safe, but even so, special medical clinics will be up and running next week to address the community's health concerns. Federal prosecutors asking a judge to give singer R. Kelly 25 more years in prison for his child pornography and enticement convictions last year in Chicago. This would add to his already 30-year sentence he's receiving he's now serving in a New York City case. If the judge agrees to that 25-year sentence, the former singer would not be eligible for release until he's around 100 years old. That's if Kelly begins serving that Chicago sentence after he fully serves the 30-year sentence from New York. An airline passenger caught trying to bring a loaded assault rifle on board a flight headed to Houston. This happened at New Orleans International Airport on Valentine's Day. TSA says they found 163 rounds of ammo in the passenger's carry-on bag. The 52-year-old man now facing a federal fine of up to $15,000. Firearms are never allowed at security checkpoints or in carry-on luggage, and they do have to be unloaded. Starting May 1st, Amazon will require thousands of office employees to work in person at least 3 days a week. Amazon's remote and hybrid-friendly policy is over. The move is part of Amazon's shift away from its pandemic posture, which led the company to double its fulfillment centers in just 2 years. Amazon CEO says the in-person requirements will improve collaboration and company culture. The North Augusta Yellow Jackets' perfect season on the line tonight in the second round of playoffs. Dan breaks it all down for us coming up tonight in sports.
Sonic under $2 craze. Sonic.
Thanks for watching News 12 on your side. Going to give you a live update now on the breaking news we mentioned at the top of our newscast. South Carolina Highway Patrol working an accident with injuries tonight in Aiken County. This is Augusta Road near Dibble Road, just outside Warrenville. A crash with multiple vehicles around 9:40 tonight. They say there were multiple injuries, possibly 2 people airlifted to a hospital. But as you can see, the road there is still shut down. There's still some wreckage in the roadway, and first responders are still on the scene. We'll let you know just as soon as we learn more about those victims.
On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
Good evening, everyone. In the playoffs, every dribble, every rebound, and every free throw matters. If you don't take care of the little things, a team destined for a state championship can be sent home in the blink of an eye. In the second round of the Class 4A playoffs in South Carolina, the undefeated North Augusta Yellow Jackets were on their home floor against Catawba Ridge. Now let's get straight into the fourth quarter with the crowd getting rowdy over there. The Yellow Jackets are down by 6. Elijah Hall skips it over to Amari Wiltshire in the corner. He takes his defender off the dribble and then nails the mid-range jumper, cutting the deficit to 4. A couple of minutes later, they're still down by 4. North Augusta needs a big play, and they get one from Dylan Evans. Now the Jackets are only down by 1, but with 2 minutes to go in the game, this costly turnover, which led to an and 1 on the other side of the floor for the Copperheads, ended up being the nail in the coffin for the Yellow Jackets. North Augusta's perfect season comes to an end in heartbreaking fashion on their home floor, 56-49. Now here's a look at some of the other scores from tonight's playoff action. Both of Cross Creek's teams, the Westside Boys and the Thompson's Girls, all won their region championships tonight, while Silver Bluff is taking their 13-game winning streak into the third round of the South Carolina playoffs in Class 2A. Now, the North Augusta Parks and Rec Department is